Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today, I'll be giving you guys an in-depth look at our 2004 Cadillac Escalade. My wife and I have recently been in the market for a full-size SUV, and we came across this one locally online, and it's an absolute cream puff. It is so hard to find these things that have not been completely ragged out. And even in 2025, the GMT 800 platform SUVs offer an incredible value. We absolutely love it. This is what I grew up with. I've driven a ton of these things over the years, like Tahoes, Yukons, Escalades, so on and so forth. But obviously, back in the day, the Escalade was it. It's the one everybody wanted. It's the one that I dreamed of having one day. And it probably sounds weird to some, dreaming to have a 20-some-odd-year-old vehicle, but this is awesome. I absolutely love this thing, and I'm going to explain why we came to purchasing one of these versus something newer and all that fun stuff. But of course, as with all of my reviews, I'm going to cover all of the ins and outs of the Escalade. I'm going to take it on a thorough drive and get some sound clips. It's going to be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up and let her run. In the early 2000s, Cadillac had literally reinvented itself. Once primarily a maker of mainly large luxury sedans, the brand expanded to broaden its vision and its lineup by debuting the midsize CTS sedan and the second-generation Escalade. From 2003 on, the Escalade was offered in three variants: a standard wheelbase, a long wheelbase, and a long wheelbase truck. The latter two, referred to as the ESV and EXT, shared their foundations with the Chevrolet Suburban and Chevrolet Avalanche. With the Escalade, Cadillac would become a leader in the luxury SUV market. It also represented a starting point for Cadillac's product renaissance by attracting customers that were about 12 years younger on average than their traditional customer base. The first generation Escalade was basically an up-badged GMC Yukon Denali. The second generation shared a core design with the other GMT 800 platform SUVs, but it was a massive upgrade over its predecessor that better represented what it meant to be a Cadillac, with exclusive styling, interior appointments, and features. It was an instant hit with professional athletes, musicians, movie stars, and automotive enthusiasts. The second generation was launched for the 2002 model year, reflecting Cadillac's new art and science design philosophy in a grand way. It was also the first vehicle to wear the brand's newly designed wreath and crest. Found throughout the vehicle, the logo was simpler, cleaner, and more modern. The grille, which echoed the shape of the Cadillac crest, was inspired by Cadillac's Evoque concept car and had a contemporary, high-tech look with a satin nickel finish and chrome accents. Large, sparkling halogen headlamps created a jewel-like appearance and were controlled by an automatic Twilight Sentinel system. They also incorporated the turn signals, parking lights, and programmable daytime running lights. In 2003, the headlamps were upgraded with xenon high-intensity discharge lighting for better illumination at night. The front fascia incorporated two recessed tow hooks and rectangular halogen fog lamps. If a front license plate wasn't needed, a body color filler panel was available to install. The rear step bumper neatly shrouded a standard trailer hitch. Protective body-colored cladding extended the vehicle's shear lines into the side quarter panels and lower body. In the rear, the cladding flowed down for extra body protection against stones. Integrated body color running boards completed the look. Along with the color-keyed fascias, cladding, and running boards, you had body-colored side view mirrors and color-keyed luggage rack end caps for a smooth monochromatic appearance. Bright chrome highlighted the rails of the Escalade's unique luggage rack and door pull handles. The large side view mirrors are heated and incorporated into the driver's seat memory program system. They also incorporate signal indicators and a power folding feature if needed. Puddle lamps automatically illuminate the area around the vehicle when the door is opened, keyless entry is used, or when an interior light is activated. The Escalade also had a unique diamond-shaped center high-mounted stop lamp, and the exhaust was fitted with an oval stainless steel tip. 2003 was a pivotal year for the second-generation Escalade as it introduced a plethora of equipment and interior updates. It also marked the introduction of the ESV. In 2004, changes mainly pertained to equipment shuffling. For example, XM satellite radio became standard, as did second-row bucket seats. The second-row bench seat became a no-charge option. Beginning in 2004, buyers could also opt for both a sunroof and rear seat entertainment. In the past, you had to pick one or the other. For an extra measure of safety, a new tire pressure monitoring system was also added. The 2004 Escalade was offered with a choice of 6 exterior colors, with this example being finished in white diamond, which was a $995 option. Additional tweaks and improvements were made through the 2005 and 2006 model years before making way for the third generation that would debut for the 2007 model year. The starting price for a standard wheelbase 2004 Escalade was around $52,635 when fitted with two-wheel drive and a 5.3-liter V8, or $55,535 when fitted with all-wheel drive and a 6-liter V8. This example would have had a total MSRP including destination of around $57,750, with the only two options of significance, aside from being a 6-liter with all-wheel drive, is the premium paint and optional chrome wheels. The GMT 800 platform SUVs have seen a significant rise in popularity in recent years for their durability and general simplicity, especially 2003 through 2006 models. With these SUVs being 20 years old, most examples have super high miles or have been used and abused. You can still get a decent deal on one with low-ish miles, but it's getting harder and harder as time goes by. Super low mileage examples are even reaching into the $20,000 range, which is just wild to see. My wife and I were considering a wide range of newer SUVs, but between the prices of things nowadays and questionable longevity, looking at something older like this made more sense for us, being that I typically work on my own stuff. We ended up buying this example from a private seller for $7,800, with just under 115,000 miles on it. It was a fair deal considering the mileage and overall condition. Before shooting this video, I did a thorough reconditioning that involved fixing a few things, detailing inside and out, replacing the front and rear emblems, and more. Of course, it's not perfect, and there's still some things that I want to spruce up and fix here and there, but so far, it's been a great SUV. The best part is that it's paid off, not rusty, parts are pretty easy to get without breaking the bank, and for the most part, it's pretty easy to work on. In 2004, the Escalade lineup, aside from the ESV Platinum Edition, had two 17 by 7-inch wheel options, both of which shared the same 7-spoke design. Machine-finished alloy wheels were standard, chrome wheels were an additional $795. Both wheel styles were originally wrapped in 265/70 Goodyear touring tires that provided a good balance between ride, handling, and traction needs. Our Escalade was recently fitted with Cooper all-terrain tires, which have a more aggressive tread pattern for better grip off pavement. They're a little noisier, most noticeably at lower speeds, but it's not too bad. The ESV Platinum Edition was fitted with an exclusive set of 20 by 9-inch 9-spoke chrome wheels. Additional 20-inch wheel options became available across the rest of the lineup in 2005. 4-wheel, internally ventilated power disc brakes were standard, along with an advanced anti-lock braking system. The front discs spanned about 12 inches, while the rear discs spanned about 13 inches. All discs were clamped down by twin-piston calipers. Braking performance is pretty good overall. It's a Hydro-Boost system, so rather than relying on engine vacuum to provide power assistance, it's a hydraulically powered system that's tied into the power steering fluid circuit. Pedal feel is on the soft side and doesn't have as strong of an initial bite as some newer SUVs I've driven, but it certainly does the job. It was also a big improvement over the first generation, which had discs in the front with single-piston calipers and drums in the rear. The mechanical parking brake is foot-operated. There's a lever on the lower left side of the dash. All-speed traction control with brake and engine intervention was standard. The second-generation Escalade combined some of the world's leading automotive technologies for its day. Perhaps the most notable is GM's StabiliTrak system, which improved stability and traction on all road surfaces and all speeds. Previously only available on GM luxury vehicles and sports cars, StabiliTrak combined sophisticated sensors that tapped into the suspension, steering, anti-lock braking, and traction control systems, constantly measuring steering angle, wheel speeds, brake pressure, lateral and longitudinal acceleration, and yaw rate, otherwise known as the vehicle rotation rate, such as when cornering. StabiliTrak helped move the vehicle where the driver pointed it, responding to understeer or oversteer in mere tenths of a second. It compared the driver's intended path with the vehicle's actual path and selectively adjusted engine torque in any of the 4 brakes to help bring the vehicle back under control. With StabiliTrak also came GM's computer-controlled road sensing suspension, a fully automatic system that improved body stability, ride comfort, trailering performance, wheel control, and overall handling under all load conditions. The road sensing suspension used electrically controlled shock absorbers, 4 electronic wheel position sensors, a steering angle sensor, brake signals, and a computer control module. The shocks were large-bore 46mm monotube dampers with an integral 2-state electric solenoid valve. Using sensors and vehicle inputs, the module adjusted the damping function on all 4 shock absorbers independently in real time, monitoring each input 1,000 times per second. Through a complex software algorithm, it computed the individual shock demand for each wheel to optimize vehicle handling and ride performance at that instant in time. Steering, braking, and acceleration inputs, which can help anticipate impending roll, lift, and dive, further enhance the system. When driving on surfaces that generate frequent wheel inputs, such as washboard roads, the system selected the best damping to keep wheel-to-road contact. The general suspension design included an independent torsion bar front suspension and a solid rear axle with a 5-link multi-link suspension and standard rear air springs that offered automatic rear suspension leveling. As the weight of cargo and passengers compressed the Escalade suspension, the rear air springs compensated to keep the vehicle level and the headlights properly aligned. The Escalade's steering setup was a recirculating ball setup with hydraulic power assistance and a variable ratio that helped improve maneuverability at low speeds and precision at high speeds. In addition to the steering gearbox, the setup consists of a pitman arm, idler arm, center link, and tie rods. The on-center ratio was 15:1, and it took about 3 turns to go from lock to lock. The turning diameter measured 39.5 feet. It doesn't offer a lot of feel, but it's a comfortable setup. The new for 2003 leather-wrapped wood-accented steering wheel featured 9 control buttons, including 4 for duplicate audio controls, 2 for trip and fuel calculation, 2 for programming vehicle functions, and 1 to initiate voice recognition for the standard OnStar system. The steering wheel is adjustable for tilt only. A newly designed instrument cluster placed more crucial operating data in front of the driver and featured new graphics and twin bright silver halos to highlight Cadillac's luxury character using Italian luxury brand Bulgari. The cluster layout is well done, featuring gauges for engine oil pressure, fuel level, engine coolant temperature, and transmission oil temperature, not to mention a voltometer. The Driver Information Center, which was also relocated from the center console to the instrument cluster in 2003, monitors and reports on up to 34 vehicle functions, more than any vehicle in its class at the time. The amount of customizable features this system offered was impressive, including but not limited to automatic driver seat position recall, curb view assist, an easy exit driver seat, perimeter lighting, and automatic locking and unlocking. Between the 2002 and midway 2005 model years, the Escalade was offered with 2 powertrain and drivetrain configurations. The standard setup included a 5.3-liter LM7 Vortec V8 that produced 295 horsepower at 5,200 RPM and 330 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM. It was paired to a 4L60E 4-speed automatic transmission. The standard setup was rear-wheel drive only. The optional, best-in-class 6-liter LQ9 Vortec V8 gave the Escalade more horsepower and torque per liter than any other SUV at the time, at 345 horsepower at 5,200 RPM and 380 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM. The Escalade delivered a strong acceleration with impressive low-end power and a strong flat torque curve for excellent pull throughout the rev range. 0 to 60 miles an hour took just under 8 seconds with the 6-liter. That was a massive improvement over the first generation, which needed just over 10 seconds to do the same deed. A key element to the 6-liter's increased output was a special set of cast aluminum cylinder heads that reduced weight, improved engine cooling, produced a 10-to-1 compression ratio, and provided better airflow in and out of the combustion chambers via bigger intake and exhaust ports. A larger 75mm throttle body and a revised camshaft profile allowed the engine to take full advantage of the increased airflow. The Vortec 6000 also incorporated an advanced electronic throttle control system, which precisely tailored throttle progression to improve drivability, fuel economy, and emissions. A specially tuned, less restrictive exhaust with a redesigned catalytic converter system not only helped to increase performance, but it also eliminated the need for an air injection reaction system, and helped the Escalade meet ultra-low emissions vehicle certification requirements in California and other states with similar laws. To handle the additional power of the Vortec 6000, the Escalade was fitted with a new Hydromatic 4L65E electronically controlled 4-speed automatic transmission with overdrive. It was a heavy-duty variant of the standard 4L60E fitted to the 5.3-liter that featured a wide variety of internal enhancements to improve both torque capacity and durability. Other innovations included passive shift stabilization, which detected overly frequent transmission shifts and delayed the upshifts to a higher RPM range while helping to reduce transmission wear, as well as GM's exclusive tow haul mode, which delayed upshifts for more effective hauling and towing. The Escalade also featured a standard trailer towing package, with a tow hitch receiver, a 7-pin electrical connector, and max towing capacity of 8,100 pounds for the all-wheel drive model. All-wheel drive max payload was 1,446 pounds. The available all-wheel drive system continuously transferred power to the wheels in a smooth, imperceptible manner to maintain an optimal front-to-rear torque split and the best balance of handling characteristics under all operating conditions. It was less about off-road capability and more about on-road performance. Unlike the four-wheel drive systems offered in the Chevrolet Tahoe and GMC Yukon, the all-wheel drive system did not have any selectable modes. Working in conjunction with GM's advanced traction and stability control systems, the Escalade used the latest technology to optimize control and ride characteristics across a variety of scenarios. The Borg-Warner one-speed open differential transfer case permitted greater and more flexible front-to-rear torque transfer than GM's previous viscous coupled transfer case. Its increased front torque bias, with 40% to the front and 60% to the rear, also improved yaw stability by reducing the potential for understeer. When it came to fuel economy, a standard wheelbase Escalade with the 6-liter V8 was rated between 13 miles per gallon in the city and 17 miles per gallon on the highway, with a combined average of 15 miles per gallon. Now, that's not completely atrocious compared to new full-size SUVs. It is a little bit worse. Having the permanent all-wheel drive system definitely doesn't help, but it is very helpful that this engine runs on regular 87 octane, just like the 5.3-liter V8. The 5.3-liter was rated a little higher at 14 city and 18 highway. The total fuel tank capacity was 26 gallons. The Escalade offered nearly every convenience feature imaginable for its day. As I mentioned, 2003 introduced a massive interior refresh that updated everything from the placement of controls and the style of various switches to the design of the seats and center console. The Escalade also gained updated multimedia and audio systems, amongst other enhancements. The seats are uniquely soft and supportive, featuring nuanced leather surfaces with perforated inserts and Cadillac-specific sew patterns. 2 interior colors were offered, shale or pewter. I will say this leather is noticeably softer compared to the leathers used by Chevrolet and GMC at the time. The biggest downside to the Escalade's leather is that it's incredibly fragile and prone to creasing, cracking, and general deterioration if not cared for. Even with low miles, ours suffers from several issues in the front bottom cushions. You can actually buy complete replacement covers that use the OE materials plus replacement cushions to bring the front seats back to new, which I hope to do so at some point. Zebrano faux wood accents on the doors, dash, and center console add warmth to the interior. The front bucket seats are equipped with 6-way power adjustments for the driver and front passenger, power seatback recliners, power adjustable side bolsters, heated seatbacks and cushions, a seatback storage pocket, power lumbar adjusters, fold-down inboard armrests, manual articulating 4-position head restraints, a 2-person driver's seat memory system with programmable exit feature, and power adjusting pedals. The updated center console flows up into the instrument panel and has a seamlessly integrated design for improved fit and finish. Being that the driver's information system was no longer located in the center console, a new covered storage compartment with a push-push lid was added to the left of the clock for convenient credit card or cell phone storage. Bulgari also inspired the design of the analog clock, adding an extra touch of class to the interior. Like the instrument cluster, the clock face was updated in 2003. The Escalade came standard with a tri-zone climate control system that allowed for independent temperature adjustments for the driver, front passenger, and the rear passengers. The climate controls for the front are easy and straightforward, with 2 temperature dials and clear-cut buttons with a digital display. In addition to the rear passenger control head, which I'll go over in just a moment, there's a panel in the overhead mini console, so the driver or front passenger could control rear climate themselves via dials for temperature, fan speed, and zone. The overhead panel could also enable or disable the rear control head or set everything to automatic just like the front. The overhead mini console provided reading lamps and home link, which allowed owners to program up to 3 different signals for items such as garage door openers, house lights, or an electric gate. If equipped, it would also house controls for the optional power sunroof, which was a $1,550 option. In 2003, the Escalade became optionally available with a DVD navigation system for $1,995. The navigation system used an onboard computer and vehicle sensors to interact with the global positioning system and the DVD map database to provide precise vehicle location and to calculate a driving route to a destination, all with visual and voice-guided directions. This example has the standard radio with a built-in CD and cassette tape player. The updated Bose Premium Audio System, also introduced in 2003, included 8 speakers plus a subwoofer mounted underneath the center console. The system generated 250 watts of RMS power and also featured a single-point loading 6-disc CD changer in the center console. For superb quality radio reception, a new diversity antenna system was employed. It used an FM antenna located on the driver's rear quarter glass and an AM/FM antenna on the passenger's rear quarter glass, feeding a diversity module located in the rear quarter panel, which then fed to the radio with an optimized signal. In other words, there's no cowl-mounted antenna like other GMT 800 SUVs, including the GMC Yukon Denali. The Escalade benefited from 2 standard cutting-edge telematics technologies, OnStar and XM satellite radio. OnStar's Directions and Connections Services was standard for 1 year and included automatic emergency assistance when airbags deploy, plus remote unlocking and diagnostic services. After the first year, it became a subscription-based service. An advanced new multiplexed electrical architecture made running all of the Escalade's features and functions simple and effective. The new architecture greatly reduced the number of wires, splices, and connectors, minimizing weight, improving packaging efficiency, reliability, durability, and enabled all of the advanced features I've been covering. Engineers had built a high level of safety and security into the Escalade, some of which I mentioned earlier, controlled via the driver's information system's personalized settings. The strong and stiff body structure featured a 3-piece modular full-length boxed frame with hydroformed rails and a stamped steel midsection. The vehicle also featured safety devices such as GM's passenger sensing system, which detected if there was a small adult or baby seat in the front passenger seat and would automatically turn the front passenger side airbag off. In addition, the Escalade had dual-stage airbags for the driver and front passenger, which controlled their rate of deployment based on the seat location relative to the instrument panel. Driver and front passenger seat-mounted side impact airbags were also standard. Side impact door beams and energy-absorbing foam blocks on the interior helped protect occupants against head injuries. A pass-lock 2 theft deterrent system was standard. The Escalade also featured Cadillac's ultrasonic rear parking assist system, which used audio and visual cues to convey information on the distance of objects behind the vehicle, assisting the driver in rear parking maneuvers. The system used 4 sensors on the rear fascia, which sequentially sent out ultrasonic waves when the vehicle backed up. The sensors picked up the echo of a signal when it bounced off an object, then activated a visual display located in the right side rear quarter D pillar that's also visible through the inside rearview mirror, and worked in concert with an audio chime system to alert the driver to any potential hazards. As the vehicle and object moved closer, the system adjusted the visual and audio cues to indicate the closer proximity. The system not only incorporated a snow, ice, mud algorithm in its software, which alerted the driver to clean the rear sensors when required for proper functioning, it can also be disabled when towing a trailer, thus preventing it from beeping unnecessarily. In 2004, the Escalade's second row came standard with reclining bucket seats, while a bench seat was a no-cost option. The buckets dropped passenger capacity to 7, but made for a much more premium-feeling space. The bench seat offered a fold-down armrest in the middle that incorporated 2 cup holders. The bucket seats have their own independent armrests. Both seat styles could be reclined for additional comfort on a long trip, and the headrests can be adjusted up and down. To make room for cargo, the second row seats can be flipped and folded. I'll demo that in a bit. The second row is quite roomy, but it's not as cavernous as more modern full-size SUVs. Step-in height, like the front, is very good, and if needed, there's assist handles mounted to the tops of the B-pillars, which also have coat hooks built in. The rear of the center console, in addition to the standard auxiliary climate controls, have an auxiliary power point, rear seat audio controls, separate right and left side controls for the standard heated seat cushions, and a set of pop-out cup holders. Additional storage can be found via the front seat back pockets. There's no additional storage in the door panels. Overhead courtesy lights for second and third row passengers illuminate the interior at night when the doors are opened and also double as reading lights. The air vents are mounted in the headliner and can be adjusted for flow, angle, or block off airflow completely. In the second row, there's 2 sets of overhead air vents. The forward one, if desired, can be positioned to blow air towards the driver and front passenger, something I find quite nice when it's cold outside, as I can blow heat on the back of my neck. A DVD rear seat entertainment system was optional. The self-contained unit mounted up in the headliner and incorporated a disk drive, component inputs for connecting external devices such as a PlayStation 2, and of course a 7-inch flip-down screen with a wide 16:9 aspect ratio. The cost for the entertainment system was $1,250. The nuanced leather extends to the second and third row seats, with the second row headrests also featuring embroidered Cadillac emblems. Standard latch anchors in the second row allow for properly securing child seats. To gain access to the third row from the sides, or if you have the bench seat, you fold and tumble the second row just like you would if you were going to maximize your cargo space. I really like how there's closeout panels to level out the floor and cover the mechanisms underneath. Cadillac claimed that adults can sit comfortably in the third row, and while it is possible, I wouldn't say it's very comfortable. I was able to climb in the third row just fine. The step-in height is pretty high though due to how the second row seats fold, and once seated, I had to sit with my legs crossed as the height between the floor and the top of the bottom cushion is not very high. I actually had good headspace left over. Legroom, again, isn't great, especially when the second row is in place because there isn't any room to stretch out, and the second row seats can't be slid back and forth like you can on more modern full-size SUVs. Children would be more than comfortable in the third row. There's provisions to sit up to 3 people thanks to an additional lap belt and buckle, but there's only 2 headrests. The headrests are adjustable up and down, but they're more compact. The side panels have a single cup holder. On the left side panel, there's a storage compartment that can be used for a variety of things. Like I said, third row passengers get their own overhead illumination. You also have overhead adjustable air vents and coat hooks on either side. For as large as the liftgate is, it's not super heavy to operate thanks to the gas-charged struts. A pull strap hangs down when open to make closing easier. A strip of cladding spans the lower portion of the liftgate that ties in with the rest of the unique bodywork. A unique handle is also incorporated into the cladding. Like its Chevrolet and GMC siblings, the rear glass is able to be opened independently from the liftgate, which can be useful for loading and unloading things that can easily fall out if the liftgate was opened. You pop the glass by pressing the button in the middle of the liftgate. Behind the third row seat, the Escalade offers 16.3 cubic feet of cargo space. However, there's only 10.1 inches of length between the third row and the floor threshold, so you can't haul a ton of stuff, but it's usable for daily tasks and light shopping. You're only really able to get the full benefit of the Escalade's size and carrying ability by reconfiguring the seats. For those with larger families who needed the most space possible, the ESV was more than able to cater. The third row seat is split 50-50 and can be lowered, flipped up, or removed entirely depending on your carrying needs. They're super easy to operate. Each seat weighs about 40 pounds, so they're not too cumbersome to pull out. With the third row completely removed, space jumps up significantly to 63 cubic feet. You can then fold the second row seats for maximum hauling. It's also easy to do so. Total cargo space for the standard wheelbase with everything removed and folded is a whopping 104 cubic feet. Standard cargo area amenities include hooks on either side of the floor, provisions for a cargo net, access to the third row side storage compartment when the third row is removed, a provision for an optional cargo privacy cover, a 12-volt power outlet, overhead illumination, and tire changing equipment stowed within the left side panel. If you were wondering, the faux speaker grille on the left side panel is actually where the subwoofer was originally located on the 2002 model. Despite the changes to the audio system in 2003, this vestigial detail remained throughout this generation's production run. Well everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like down below because it really helps the videos a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing that too and make sure those notifications are on. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.